This action by North Carolina Republicans to pass a revised U.S. House map is more than a routine legislative measure. It is a critical engagement in the national battle for congressional control. The new map solidifies the state's electoral landscape, aiming to increase the Republican delegation from 10 out of 14 seats to a formidable 11-3 majority. Summary and analysis. The measure, passed by the Republican-controlled General Assembly, is designed to immediately flip the 1st Congressional District, NC01, currently held by moderate Democrat Rep. Don Davis, into a reliably Republican seat. This was achieved by strategically swapping counties, moving several conservative coastal counties into the 1st District, while shifting some inland counties, including Davis's home county, into the adjacent Republican-held 3rd District. Election data suggests the new NC01 would have backed Donald Trump by an 11-point margin, 55%-44%, turning the state's only swing district into a safe Republican hold. Because North Carolina law prohibits the Democratic governor, Josh Stein, from vetoing redistricting legislation, the map is set to take effect for the upcoming 2026 election cycle unless it is blocked by the courts. This mid-decade redistricting effort is a calculated political maneuver responding directly to the call by President Donald Trump for Republican-led states to secure more seats nationally. It represents an escalation of the national partisan battle over electoral boundaries, following similar recent actions in states like Texas and reciprocal countermeasures proposed by Democrats in California. Reasons and motivation. The primary reason for this rapid remapping is crystal clear and openly admitted by GOP leaders: to protect and expand the Republican Party's slim majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. With national control hanging by a thread, gaining a guaranteed seat in a reliably Republican state like North Carolina becomes an essential insurance policy. This move was made possible by the state's evolving legal landscape. For years, legal challenges citing the North Carolina Constitution prevented extreme partisan gerrymandering. However, a shift in the state Supreme Court's political control led to the reversal of previous precedents, effectively legalizing partisan gerrymandering under state law. With this legal hurdle removed, the legislative majority was free to draw maps for pure political gain. The explicit strategy was to use the demographic data to maximize Republican votes, while leaving just enough Democratic votes in the remaining districts to minimize the number of seats they could win. Consequences. The consequences of this redistricting are profound, affecting everything from voter representation to the national balance of power. First, it secures an 11-3 majority for Republicans, making North Carolina one of the most gerrymandered states in the nation and dramatically reducing the competitiveness of its congressional elections. This means fewer swing voters, less incentive for moderate candidates, and reduced accountability for incumbents. Second, the map faces heavy criticism for its dilution of black voter power. The 1st Congressional District, located in the state's historic Black Belt region, has continuously elected black representatives since 1992. The new map drastically reduces the black voting age population in this district, dropping from approximately 40% to 32%. Effectively fracturing communities of interest that have long worked together. Opponents argue that even if race was not explicitly used in the map drawing, the effect is an illegal racial gerrymander, undermining decades of progress secured under the Voting Rights Act. Third, it normalizes mid-decade redistricting. Congressional maps are traditionally drawn only once every 10 years following the census. By redrawing the map merely 2 years after the last round, North Carolina sets a potentially dangerous precedent, suggesting that political majorities can and will adjust electoral lines whenever it is convenient for a national election cycle. Prediction and solutions prediction. Litigation is inevitable. Democrats and civil rights groups have already vowed to challenge the map in court. Given the recent history of state Supreme Court rulings, any success will likely depend on federal action. Challengers will focus their efforts on arguments that the map constitutes an illegal racial gerrymander, violating the Federal Voting Rights Act, VRA. The timing, however, is precarious, as the U.S. Supreme Court is currently reviewing VRA cases that could potentially limit its application, making it difficult for civil rights groups to prevail. Nevertheless, the legal fight will proceed with candidate filing deadlines fast approaching. Barring an unforeseen federal court injunction, the map is likely to be used for the next election cycle. Solutions. Addressing partisan gerrymandering requires multifaceted action. Judicial action. The immediate solution rests with the courts, particularly utilizing federal protections against racial discrimination under the VRA. Electoral strategy. Democrats must shift their focus to competing fiercely even in the newly drawn unfavorable districts, maximizing turnout and running strong candidates to defy the partisan projections. Constitutional and legislative reform. The long-term, most effective solution is removing redistricting power from partisan legislators entirely. This means advocating for a constitutional amendment in North Carolina to establish a truly independent, nonpartisan redistricting commission. This mechanism, used successfully in other states, prioritizes neutral criteria like population equality, compactness, and the preservation of communities of interest over partisan gain. Until such structural reforms are adopted, the cycle of extreme gerrymandering will continue to destabilize the state's democracy.